have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Sixers center Joel Embiid has been out for a month after a meniscus injury to his left knee. He says today he hopes to play again before the end of the regular season. The Sixers are in a 3-way tie for 5th place in the East. In spite of the Lakers' comeback from 21 points down to beat the Clippers Wednesday night, ESPN's Joe Fortenbaugh doesn't see LeBron James and company making a deep run in the playoffs.
The problem for the Lakers is that they're so far back. You're not going to be able to get into the Western Conference playoffs, survive the play-in, and then win 4 games in 3 consecutive series so you can get to the finals.
Joe Fortenbaugh on Carlin versus Joe. Right now, the Lakers are 9th in the West. They host the Wizards tonight. Heat guard Tyler Hero is out tonight against the Nuggets with a left knee injury. He's averaging 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists a game. Salt Lake City, which hosted the 2002 Winter Olympics, today became the first bidder to host the 2034 Winter Games.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Cannon, coming on Friday. As the workouts get started at the Combine, I'll tell you the one prospect who has a lot riding on his performance. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. We got a lot to do heading up to the Combine in Indy in 15 minutes. Cat Terrell is there. The Duggars in Houston. We'll talk to former Tiger Doug Thompson, Kendall Rogers in hour 3. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
All right, a lot to get to today. LSU baseball was a winner in Houston at Reckling Park on Wednesday night. They beat Rice 16-4, and it's exactly the Wednesday night win over Rice was exactly the reason why I love going on the road in the pre-conference. Told you this before, but I'm going to say it again. Had an administrator a long time ago tell me after LSU built the new box, when they played a whole bunch of home games, like, why don't you ever go on the road? And the response was, you don't pay for a $40 million stadium with the lights off. So LSU's going to play a lot of home games, but last night was exactly the reason why I love seeing the team go on the road. Go sleep in a hotel, go play at somebody else's field, go play on turf. Go play where the lights are low and the sky is dark, where you're sitting in a different dugout, you're pitching on a different mound. Everything looks different. The batter's eye looks different from home plate. The sight lines are different with every throw you make. Go get out of your comfort zone and experience something different. And LSU did that against Rice. And they still managed to win 16-4. Oh, it wasn't without flaw. I mean, you had Mac Bingham and Tommy White miscommunicate on a pop-up and left. You had Josh Pearson drop a ball that he didn't squeeze and right. You had Stephen Milam throw a ball in the dirt. All that happened in the same inning, by the way. Not even the dirt, in the turf, excuse me. It was all turf. It was windy, and by the end of the game, cold and empty, and it was great. It was a perfect experience to get away from the box and go experience something else. Because there's going to be a time this year where you play on turf. And there's going to be a time this year where there's windy conditions, or you're not used to the sight lines, or a ball gets lost in the sky, or whatever. Go get comfortable being uncomfortable. So I loved it. I love that they went and played that game and had an imperfect day and still won 16-4. Jay Johnson talked about Cade Anderson, the freshman, who was obviously the story of the game for those that watched. Anderson gave you 5 innings of 3-run ball on 3 hits, struck out 7, walked just 1. He hit a batter as well. We'll get more to the rocky third inning in just a quick second. But here was Jay Johnson on the freshman.
He was great. Yeah, he's great. He's a stud. I mean, we didn't help him. Like, we made an error and then a non-play. But I thought he responded when things went bad that were out of his control really well. Yeah. And I thought the pitch quality was good. I thought it was better than it was the first week. And so he just keeps getting better. And thought he had great tempo. And really good night for Cade.
By the way, thanks to Michael Cobble over at the WBRZ. Credit him with the audio and the video of Jay Johnson from last night there at Reckling Park. Yes, what you heard Jay Johnson say there about was like, we didn't help him. We had an error and a misplay or a no play. So that's what happened in the third. LSU scored 3 in the second and then put up a 6 spot in the top of the third. All of it, by the way, in the third with 2 outs. We'll talk about that half inning in just a second. But the bottom half of the inning was the problem for LSU. They gave up a single, and then Anderson hit a guy. So he had first and second with nobody out. He gets a fly ball to right field, right? He started the inning by getting an out. So it was 1 out, then he gives up the single and the hit by pitch. So there's first and second, 1 out. Fly ball to right field, and Josh Pearson just drops it. Well, because the runner had held, he fires it into second base, gets the lead runner. Awesome. So there's 2 outs and runners at first and third. Grounder to Stephen Milam at second. He ranges to his left, and he throws the ball into the turf. Jared Jones can't pick it. A run scores. You should have been out of the inning. Cade Anderson comes back to the next hitter. By the way, that hitter also, Anderson was walking off the field because he thought he got a called third strike on the pitch before the grounder to Milam. Then the next hitter hits the lazy fly into shallow left. Tommy White's going back. Mac Bingham's coming in, and neither calls for the ball. A boneheaded play, awful, should have been out of the inning because there was 2 outs. Everyone was running on contact, 2-run score. And then the next hitter, Anderson, strikes him out. So he continued to execute pitches and probably should have gotten away with no damage whatsoever out of that inning, but his defense didn't back him up. We saw that happen similarly to Thatcher Hurd on Friday, where there was a misplay in the outfield, and Tommy White dropped the ball at third base where he could have tagged a runner out, and he just didn't get that help in an inning where he worked himself into some trouble and didn't get help from his defense to get out of it. But that's something I want to see from this defense, is them shore some things up, but a lot of that's going to happen as guys win jobs. But all things considered, Cade Anderson was really good. There's one other thing with Anderson that I wanted to talk about. But first, here was Jay Johnson on Anderson from his first start to his second as a Tiger.
I think it was just sharper, and it's a new environment, first time on a road, good crowd, and he went right at it. You wouldn't have guessed that was his first college road start at all.
One other thing that I would like to mention about Cade Anderson. He's a freshman, lefty, looks awesome. There was a guy who pitched at LSU named Ty Floyd. He's pretty good, right? Ty Floyd was pretty good at throwing the ball. I think he was taken like 38th overall in the draft. Set a record for the most strikeouts in a men's college World Series game. 17 in game 1 of the championship series. Ty Floyd's a really good player. Hey, Muse, you're a big LSU baseball guy. When you remember Ty Floyd, remember him? Who pitched at LSU?
Of course.
Yeah, you remember him?
Or number 9.
Yeah. So did Doug Thompson, by the way. Shout out Doug. So early in his career, there was one really big critique or criticism of Ty Floyd. What was it?
Only had fastball.
Right. He never threw a breaking ball, right? That was it. Like, all he ever did was throw a fade. It was really good fastball.
Very good.
But he never threw a breaking ball.
Mm-mm.
Cade Anderson threw 82 pitches last night. Of his 82 pitches, only 7 were off speed. Now, from what I understand, I'm not a scout, but what I understand is Cade Anderson has a really good breaking ball. But he only threw it 7 times last night. So I don't know if Nate Yeske just isn't calling breaking balls. I don't know if they're just saving it. I don't know if it's just the circumstance of last night. Whatever. But that's just something to file away to say, I know he's got more in the arsenal. Are we going to see it? Is he having trouble locating? I don't know. Cade Anderson was awesome last night. He didn't need it. He gave you 5 innings of darn near perfection. I mean, the defense let him down in the third. Those are the only 3 runs that he allowed. I'm just saying, file that away. As the season goes along, I want to see what else there is in the arsenal that they didn't unleash last night. So just something to file away as they move forward with this one. Offensively, look, I mean, LSU is really good. They got the 3 runs in the second, the 6 runs in the third. Tommy White came up with a big hit. Brady Neal blasted 2 homers in the ball game. The first one, like, he hit it over the lights. It was incredible to watch. So the offense really got going. Here was Jay Johnson after the game on the offensive firepower.
I thought we did a good job tonight of good plate discipline. We got a lot of free passes, walks, a lot of hit by pitches, and then cashed in. I mean, it's really good 2-out hitting with Paxton. Kind of got us going there. And then Tommy, up the middle. Obviously, big 2-out homer by Brady right there. So if you can add up free bases and you can cash in with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, you're going to put up some runs. And I think that's what we did tonight.
Kling hit the flare in the left, which got the offense going. White roped one up the middle. We mentioned the 2 homers by Neal. If you ever look at an LSU baseball game like what happened last Saturday and when they lost to Stony Brook, and you see, or Friday, and you see a 2-hour baseball game from a Jay Johnson coach team, generally speaking, he's not going to be super pleased. Jay wants his team leaning into pitches, taking walks, hitting the ball on the ground, putting pressure on the defense. He wants 3.5, 4-hour baseball games. That's not always ideal for fans, but when Jay Johnson has his offense pressuring a defense, that's what it looks like. And last night, Rice walked 10 hitters and hit 5. They gave you 15 base runners on a day where you had 11 hits. So it was great, all things considered. DJ Primo, we saw him ran into a little trouble. Sam Dutton came out of the bullpen again. I gave you an inning of 2/3 of no-run baseball. We got to see Nick Bronzini. That was his first outing of the year, Bronzini?
Second. He pitched a third on Sunday.
Okay, so Bronzini's second outing of the year. He pitched the 8th inning. Looked good. Big dude. Lively arm. Really good to see him. Will Helmers pitched the 9th and struck out a couple. So you're getting a lot more guys involved. So after the 4-game weekend, this past weekend, you play Wednesday, obviously, against Rice. Now you head into the 3-game series at Minute Maid, starting with Texas on Friday. So we'll get plenty of insights into that. We'll head to Houston in 1 hour from right now. Doug Thompson will be here. Was on the call last night. He'll be on the call all weekend. Kendall Rogers in hour 3 will give us a full overview of the Astros Classic coming up this weekend. So we're really looking forward to that. But a nice win for LSU as they go away from home for the first time. This will be the first of 4 consecutive games away because they'll have the 3 this weekend at Minute Maid. Then next week in the midweek, they're in Hammond against Paul O'Neill's Southeastern Lions. He will be wearing a big old green Southeastern shirt next week. Are you going to wear a lion hat, a lion head, like a lion costume head? Like
if I can find one, sure, yeah.
Is there a Southeastern mascot, like a costume mascot?
Yeah.
There is?
Yes.
I wonder if we can get someone from Southeastern to loan us the lion head for a day to let Paul wear it on the show.
I would totally wear it.
It's totally in your personality too, Paul, so I wouldn't doubt that at all.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. I think we can make that happen. I mean, come on. Like, we got to have some pull over in Hammond, America.
I know a guy.
Hey, yeah.
Well, I mean, the AD used to be the baseball coach.
Yeah, Matt Reiser.
No.
I know. I'm aware it's Coach Artigues. I know. Okay. Never mind.
That doesn't. Why would that?
Never mind. We'll just let it go.
I feel like you screwed up.
No.
The AD used to be the baseball coach. And
Yeah.
You mentioned Matt Reiser, who's not.
I know. Can we let it go?
Because you screwed up and you want me to move on?
No.
Paul, did he just screw up and he wants me to move on?
I think so. That's what I'm getting.
Thought so.
Of course it is, Paul.
I mean, but you did. You screwed up and now you want me to move on.
I didn't screw up. It went over better in my head. It didn't play. It's all it was. I think everyone was surprised when he was let go. Yes, so I was going to make a funny quip about it, and I stopped mid-go of it. The guy took him to like 3 or 4 NCAA tournaments, and out of nowhere, got let go. Best of luck to him. He's a very good coach.
It wasn't really out of nowhere. They kind of scuffled there toward the end. But I did like Matt. He was good on the show. He was generous with his time.
I believe he's at McNeese now, correct?
I don't know.
I believe so.
Memphis.
Look at Paul
Memphis?
dropping knowledge.
One of those M's.
Hey, don't you dare question Paul O'Neill's Southeastern knowledge. Look at him over there. Look at him go. I tell you what, Paulie. Good luck to Matt Reiser, who is not the AD.
Yes, it's I wish we could have just moved on. I mean,
that would so not be in my personality at all to just move on.
I know. That's why I stopped mid-go of it, and after I did that, I'm like, oh, Lord, all right.
AFR is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with the Tigers, the champs. Bud Light, friends over at Mockler Beverage, man, they're awesome. Love being partnered with them. Got to go hang out in Lake Charles last Friday as they've now acquired Southwest Beverage. So, of course, Baton Rouge, Houma, Lake Charles, Alexandria, Leesville. Love it, man. We're so thrilled to be partnered with our friends over at Mockler Beverage, and we tell you all the time, drink easy with the official beer of the Tigers. That would be Bud Light. Okay. It's after further review. We were supposed to be talking to Kat a minute ago, but Moose so made an awful mistake, and I just couldn't let it go. And so it was a bad mistake. You kind of screwed it up. It's AFR.
AFR.
It's Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Hey, listen, so I noticed actually this weekend over, I was looking out front window at the lawn, and whenever the winter comes, I don't know about you, but like our lawn it just dies. It's not just like the grass gets brown. Not only does it get brown, but it's like there's just dirt patches everywhere. It's bad. But whenever the spring comes, it gets green and really beautiful. Well, anyway, I noticed this weekend for the first time the lawn was starting to get green again, which is really exciting because it means spring's on the way. But if that's you, before spring is in full force, you have to treat your lawn now to prevent weeds whenever spring does come rolling in full force. So Clegg's has the products. Get by any of the 4 locations. Siegen Air Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. It's Clegg's Nursery.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Let's head up to Indy. Cat Terrell, ESPN Saints writer, there with the Saints covering the combine. Cat, always appreciate it. How are you?
I'm doing great, Matt. How are you?
Doing really well. Is there a general consensus on the biggest topic or approach or need there at the combine for the Saints this week?
I think there's the consensus among the media, and
okay.
So I can only speak for myself that it's offensive line and defensive line. Whether or not the Saints agree with that, don't know. But I mean, both of those positions are definitely some of their top needs. They need a pass rusher, and then the offensive line kind of depends on what happens in free agency. But I'm going to have to think that they would have to address that in some way in the draft.
Kat, I know that it's not really until workouts start that people start to talk about combine, draft risers or fallers or whatever. But just in the early going there, as they kind of go through interviews and medicals and the weigh-ins and all that stuff, is there any buzz there in Indy about players, whether it's offensive or defensive linemen or otherwise?
Not yet. I mean, it sounds weird to say that. It's early in the week. It's really not early in the week. It's late in the week, but it doesn't. I don't get that sense yet, but I feel like those things kind of come in the week after the combine when everyone's digested it and then they start talking about it. But it'll be interesting to see who the Saints are looking at and talking to and things like that as the next few days progress.
Well, we know they talked to Jayden Daniels. What do you make of that?
Right. It really depends on whether you're considering it a formal interview or an informal interview. So teams get probably 40 formal interviews, but as far as informal interviews go, teams are probably talking to almost every guy at the combine in some way or the other. I'm going to guess because it became news, it was a formal interview. And I just think, as Jeff Ireland told the media the other day, that they're doing their due diligence. I think they fully believe in Derek Carr. So I'm going to doubt we're going to see them draft a first-round quarterback. But they've surprised us before, but I'd be very surprised with that one.
Kat, what first popped in my head when I heard that was the Mahomes year. And,
right.
the Saints had Drew Brees. That was 2017. I mean, Brees still played 4 more seasons, but they were prepared to take Mahomes 11th if Kansas City hadn't leapfrogged them. Is there any thought that could be the case, that if someone like Jayden were to fall, I don't think he's fallen to 14, but what if he fell outside of the top 5 and got somewhere in that 8 to 10 range that they would make the move?
The reason I hesitate to say that, if he's there, they would draft him, is because, to me, that says, okay, they're giving up on win-now mode, which they fully put themselves back in their minds when they went out and signed Derek Carr. They invested all that money in Derek Carr, and then you're going to take a quarterback the next year. I think that it would definitely say something of their opinion on Carr if they did that. I just feel like they wouldn't be willing to admit that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But on the other side, if the guy is there and he's the top graded guy and they feel like it's a can't miss prospect, well, there's always reasons to take someone. So I know I'm kind of wavering all over the place. I still don't think they'd take a quarterback, But if he's the guy in the years to come, like Mahomes, then maybe that's how they think.
Cat Terrell's with us, ESPN.com. Ship there in Indy at the Combine, on Twitter at @Cat_Terrell. Y'all give her a follow. Cat, what did you make of the Saints adding Dave Ziegler?
I think it's interesting. I haven't met him yet. Talking to people around the league, he seems to be pretty highly regarded. Actually, ran into Terry Fontenot, who obviously used to work for the Saints before going to the Falcons, and he had great things to say about him. So definitely interested to actually get to meet him. We haven't met the offensive staff yet. I actually saw most of them walking by me a minute ago. I'm near the Saints Hotel, so I guess they're out going to do interviews.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what happens at the Combine. But no, from everything I've heard, people really like to hire.
The all of the cap gymnastics are going on right now as well. The big news today was Cam Jordan. Well, I mean, you laugh because I'm assuming the reason that every media member that covers the Saints sort of chuckles because it's like this is something everybody. I think all of you who cover this team today could probably do this process for Kai Harley.
We have a lot more cap knowledge than we did when I started this job. That's for sure. I laugh for two reasons. One, because I actually ran into Cam Jordan last night. He's also here at the Combine. And two, it's like at this time of the year, it's all we talk about. I have a spreadsheet of the daily salary cap and all of the players' cap hits all the way up to 2027 because that's what you have to have if you cover this team. And they're going to be doing this for several years, even though they keep saying they're going to get out of it. So I'm rambling, and I think you asked what I made of them restructuring Cam specifically.
Sure. I just kind of asked just the chuckle because it was like, I mean, this is something they all do. But yes, I mean, Cam is a fair one to ask because he's not been a productive player the past couple of years. Now they're committing themselves to him financially for a longer period.
Well, I feel like his cap hit was so big last year, it almost felt like extending him helped that cap hit versus if they'd cut him that year. When you restructure a player, as most people who follow the Saints know, it makes the financial implications of cutting them in the year or two to come much harder. And Cam has not said he's going to play for several more years. He's kind of said in terms of 2 years. So would next year be the last year? I don't know, but I do know that now he'll have a massive cap hit, and they're going to have to figure out how to work around his production and age. I don't think his body recovers as fast as he used to. He had more injuries this year than he's ever had. So that one is probably not the easiest restructure, but he had a $23 million cap hit or something, so you had to address it in some way. Hard to say, go to the player and take a pay cut when they just gave an extension that guaranteed the money this year anyway. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm interested to see how they do that. Do they move him inside sometimes? Maybe. I mean, do they figure out how to work around him? Because they don't have a lot of other pass rushers. It's Cam, it's Carl Granderson, and that's it. So that's something they're going to have to address.
Does that make pass rusher the number one need for the team in your opinion?
I think it's very close to offensive line. Now, if they go out and re-sign Andres Pete, who I think actually really proved himself last year to still be a good addition to the team after he actually lost his starting job. He has to take a pay cut. He comes out and plays left tackle, and I thought he played well. And he's another one of those players, where it's better to keep him than let him go because of the $13 million dead money hit his contract void. So if they re-sign him, that helps a little, but then you look at Trevor Penning and how much the team actually believes in him versus what they're saying. They're saying all the right things, but if they've already kind of moved on from him, which I don't think they have, then I would think an offensive lineman would be a top priority. But it's definitely one of those two. In Ramczak's knees, too, as well. That's an issue.
Do you have an update? I know Dennis Allen mentioned they expect Ryan Ramczyk to play this year, but do we expect any time a definitive timeline, Cat, to know for certain if Ryan Ramczyk's going to be back? Because, Cat, I would assume with free agency here 2 weeks away and then the draft soon to follow, they need an answer to that question.
I think they have it. Just based on people I've talked to, it seems positive. There was no doom and gloom. And obviously the reason why this has become such a big story is Ramczyk, who doesn't really talk to the media that much. He's a quieter guy. He probably wishes he hadn't talked to us that day. he was so frank and honest about how this is a lifelong thing he has to manage. And if they don't find something that works, then retirement is not off the table. He didn't say it in his exact terms, but that's what he was getting at. And so now, a few months later, when the Saints say he only had to have a minor knee procedure, he doesn't have to have surgery, and they feel like they can work with this, I think that's got to be a huge relief. But the biggest sign that we're going to know they really fully believe is if they restructure his contract. That'll say everything.
She's Kat Terrell, ESPN Saints reporter. She's on Twitter at @Kat_Terrell. Hey, before you go, just look ahead at the next, say, 7 to 10 days post-Combine. What are going to be some of the headlines and things that Saints fans should expect here in the next week to 10 days?
Well, I think it's about to get really exciting because free agency is about to kick up. I don't think the Saints are going to be in any huge, splashy free agent talks, but they'll probably add a few. But the biggest things will be Michael Thomas, Jameis Winston, whether some of those trickier restructures get done, like Ryan Ramczyk, and then whether they re-sign Andres Pete. That's really their biggest free agent, and whether Jimmy Graham retires. But I think Michael Thomas and his, in my opinion, impending release will probably be the biggest topic once free agency officially begins.
It is never slow in NFL circles, as you well know, Kat. I mean, they have done a brilliant job, the league has, of making this a 12-month cycle, and it's one thing to the next, and free agency is next here after the Combine. Okay, Kat, have a good weekend there in Indy. We appreciate the time, as always.
Thanks, you too.
All right, be well. That is Kat Terrell. This is After Further Review. We're brought to you by Pure Restoration. I was doing Morning Scone earlier today, and someone jumped in the comments and was like, hey, Matt, what's the mold company you talk about? Our office building, I think we have black mold. Listen, Louisiana, in particular, the southern part of our state, we're like the mold capital of the world. It is wet down here and humid. And so when you have moisture and humidity, that's a breeding ground for mold. Look up at an air vent in any building. You see those little black specks on the air vent? That's mold. If you have mold, think you might, let Pure Restoration help. It's easy. If you need demo and build back services, full remediation services, they do that as well. But the brilliance of their patented non-toxic dry fog is they come in, they spray, they close the doors, they let the mold dwell, or excuse me, let the fog dwell. It kills the mold all the way down to the spores. And as soon as the fog dissipates, boom, you're back in free and clear. I mean, your home, they could have you completely mold free in half a day. It's more cost effective and more efficient. It's mold zero. Pure Restoration. I defaulted. I was talking about mold. I defaulted to the old name, Pure Restoration. My bad. So if I just confused you, send me a message and say, hey, Scone, what's the mold thing you always talk about? Pure Restoration. Pure-restoration.com. Pure-restoration.com. Okay. We'll go around the SEC when we come back. Hey, a lot of LSU fans kind of biting their fingernails, waiting until next November when Bryce Underwood can make it official and sign on the dotted line with LSU. He gave an interview to some national reporters with 247 Sports about how solid his commitment is. We will let you hear in Bryce Underwood's own words when we come back. It's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery with 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. It's Pluckers. Of course, always a great night to get by Pluckers. Thursday night, all-you-can-eat boneless buffalo bites. It's easy. You go there. They take white meat chicken, breaded, fried, tossed in your favorite wing sauce, and you can eat as many of them on Thursdays all night long for one low price. That's at Pluckers. Every Thursday, all you can eat boneless buffalo bites. Nicholson just south of campus and Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. If you don't want to get out, no worries. They've got a delivery via Uber Eats, DoorDash. Punch up the app. You can have your wings delivered right to you. You do have LSU women tonight on the road at Georgia, late tip, 8 o'clock Central. So if you need a place to watch, get them by Pluckers. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, Pluckers. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com. Oh, by the way, we do shutters too.
Value Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $17,500 off new 23 1500 Bighorn trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $17,500 off new Ram 1500 trucks. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
I think every LSU fan is going to be waiting with bated breath until next December, when Bryce Underwood and the rest of this heralded 2025 class of commitments can make it official and sign on the dotted line. And a lot of people have asked, hey, what are the chances of LSU getting all these guys, keeping all these commitments for 2025 until signing day? Well, a handful of 247 sports recruiting analysts do a recruiting podcast every week. Among them, Tom Loy and Andrew Ivins, and they were talking about the quarterbacks, and they had Bryce Underwood, the LSU commitment, on the show, and he was talking about, this is Tom Loy talking about Bryce Underwood and his commitment to LSU.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. When I left Las Vegas, the Next One's event, presented by Nike, I was a little on the fence. When I talked to Bryce, there was a lot of for now and right now and things like that. But after talking to some people close to him over the last week or so, it seems he's rock solid to LSU. He seems like the only visit he wants to take is to Baton Rouge and check out LSU. So barring a change, barring something completely unexpected, I do think he's going to stick with his decision to go to LSU. They picked LSU for the right reasons. Those right reasons are still there. I'm not sure anything's going to change his mind at this point.
Especially as that class continues to grow and get more blue chip additions. So from Bryce Underwood to Tom Loy, quote, rock solid, his commitment to LSU. And what was interesting is that he talked about when he saw him in Las Vegas that it was for now. It wasn't as maybe firm as you might think, but clearly that's changed. So we'll continue to follow as we roll all the way through next December. A long way to go still. You got a full 9 months to go. Got a pregnancy to go before that baby gives birth and signs on the dotted line. But we'll follow it. Good news for now. Okay, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. We will talk to Doug Thompson a little more than 30 minutes right now. He's with the Tigers over in Houston. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. So many former LSU baseball greats have been patients of Dr. Blake Williamson. Our buddy Patrick Coogan, the great Warren Morris, had LASIK done over at the Williamson Eye Center. Devin White, Caleb Chasson, Andre Anthony. I mean, dozens of current and former Tigers and athletes from all different sports have trusted Dr. Blake Williamson you can as well. 924-2020. Go for that consultation. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. WilliamsonEye.com. Remember, it's eye care, eyewear, and eye surgery. So if you're having your annual eye exam, if you wear contacts or glasses and need new contacts or glasses, they can help you there. And, of course, if you want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, the Williamson Eye Center has a refractive option no matter your age or your refractive issue. It's the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020. Do what I did. Trust Dr. Blake Williamson. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Ole Miss Rebels.
All right, Lane Kiffin's made another addition to his coaching staff. Former Middle Tennessee quarterback Brent Stockstill, whose dad, of course, was the longtime coach at Middle Tennessee, is joining Ole Miss as an offensive analyst. He was actually the offensive coordinator and the quarterback for the Blue Raiders from 2013 to 2018, played in Tiger Stadium. Finished as the program's all-time leader in passing yards, touchdown passes, and completions. He was back at Middle Tennessee as the receivers coach in 2021, quarterback's passing game coordinator the last 2 years, now heading to Oxford to join Lane Kiffin's staff.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
And Shane Beamer is adding a new wide receivers coach for 2024. It is Mike Fury. He was actually the head coach at Limestone University. It's serious what it says.
That's a real place.
Limestone University.
Look what they have there.
Where is Limestone University? It's in South Carolina, but please look up where that is. I feel like over the years, we've done a lot of directional school U's, right? Midweek games, regional baseball, NCAA basketball tournament. You learn a lot of the mid-majors. I don't think I've ever heard of Limestone University.
It is a private Christian university in Gaffney, South Carolina.
Or they cannot play Division I athletics. That's got to be like Division II, NAIA. There's no way this is Division I.
Here's their football team I'm looking up right now.
Division III football, got to be.
You think? Yeah, they don't even have like a Wikipedia page.
Oh, that's a dead giveaway. You don't have a Wikipedia, you don't matter. Anyway, let me know what you see there. Limestone already hired NFL wide receiver former receiver Jericho Cotchery. Limestone University. What in the world? Anyway, the guy from Limestone is going to coach at South Carolina. All right, on the hardwood, Tennessee, battle of ranked teams. Tennessee beat Auburn at the Tommy Bowl 92-84. Alabama went on the road and blasted Ole Miss 103-88. South Carolina, a very nice road win in College Station 70-68. And Florida, no problems with Missouri. That was in Gainesville. 83-74 was the final. Missouri 0-15 now in conference play. Of course, they will visit Baton Rouge in the final game of the regular season. On the diamond last evening, Ole Miss beat Missouri State 12-3 in Oxford. Vanderbilt, they took care of Evansville 7-3. That was in Nashville. Michigan State went to Athens and blew the doors off of Georgia 19-6. And Florida beat Bethune-Cookman 9-2. We know LSU beat Rice 16-4. Okay, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. We are glad to have you hanging out with us here. Of course, our Thursday shows were brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. Finally got my car back today. Oh, thank God. Told y'all a couple weeks ago I got in a fight with a flying piece of tire from an 18-wheeler. I didn't literally get in a fight, but a flying piece of tire from an 18-wheeler just smushed my hood and the grill of my car. Thank God I was driving one of the safest vehicles on the road, but finally got it back today and fired up to be back in my car. Took it to was over on the North Shore today, meeting a new client. But man, no matter if I'm on the interstate, driving Drew to school, whatever it may be, love driving my Volkswagen. Try the Atlas Crossport. That's what I drive. Erica drives the Atlas. If you need the full 3-row, 7-seater family SUV, they're sure to have something that'll fit you and what your family needs at South Point Volkswagen. New and certified pre-owned. It's South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? The LSU basketball team, of course, will be back on the floor this weekend as, they'll have they'll back-to-back road games now as they come down the home stretch of the regular season with 3 to play with Vanderbilt, Arkansas, and then home, of course, against Missouri, which Missouri's winless in the league, and that should be the one that you get. I'll continue to maintain that I think this team needs to split these road games. You split Vanderbilt and Arkansas. You beat Missouri. You finish 9-9 in the conference. I know that's not exactly what Matt McMahon is thinking of right now, but this is a team that LSU already played earlier this year. And when they played earlier this season in Baton Rouge, LSU beat Vandy 77-69. And Matt McMahon on his radio show talked about how Vanderbilt has changed and evolved as the season's gone along.
I tell you what's changed is Van Allen Lubin, their 5-man, is playing as well as any big man in the league right now. He had 19 and 12 last night at Arkansas. Transfer from Notre Dame. He was on the USA under-19 championship team this summer. Missed some time early due to injury. And he's playing really well, which makes him dangerous because I think the guard duo of Mannion and Lawrence is very formidable. Magnon's the fastest guard in the league, has great speed and quickness off the dribble. Lawrence is playing his best basketball of the year. So dangerous team back home. I'm sure they'll be very confident and ready to go.
LSU averages about 10 points per game more than Vanderbilt. LSU averages about 76 a game. Vanderbilt averages 66 a game, both defensively right at about the same. But you have two teams that are kind of going in different directions, programs going in different directions. Matt McMahon seems to have his team ascending. Jerry Stackhouse very well could be playing out the string of his final season there in Nashville. But Memorial Gym is always a tough place to play. And on Friday's show, we'll talk plenty more and delve into that matchup and kind of what LSU has in front of it with 3 games to go. But it stands to reason, if LSU can go beat Vanderbilt, regardless of what happens at Arkansas, which we know that's always a tough place to play, but you come home and you play Missouri, and you finish 9-9 in the league, this is very likely an NIT team. And I'll continue to say it. I think that would be a huge positive step in year 2 for Matt McMahon. Okay, it's after further review. Let me knock out our final break here of hour number 1. We got a Where in the World when we come back. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001. I really like to share testimonials when we have them, and all the testimonials that talk about how great River City's 1 Hour Air is. But every contractor in every industry at some point is going to mess up. It's just the nature of business. But I really feel like you're defined by how you respond in those situations. And I share this with you, but had a listener that reached out to me, said, hey, called River City's 1 Hour Air, and there were some things I wasn't pleased with. So I reached out to Matt Rick over at River City's 1 Hour Air, called this customer, and immediately rectified it. So often, that's where you prove your mettle and who you are as a business, and that's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Bayou Ford has new 23 Ford F-150 STX trucks for only $39,995. $39,995 plus 1.9% financing for 72 months. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. Glad to have you hanging around with us. Maybe this is something that just always happened, and I'm just now paying attention to it more because I'm paying attention to it more. But it seems like every day there's another former LSU assistant on the move. What is going on?
Former LSU football assistants.
I mean, I would guess if I go back into past years, I'd find guys that coached at LSU that were always on the move, right? Probably.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably in high demand. It's a good program. You're going to hire people from good programs.
It's just like every...
Former LSU football assistants.
Every day. Maybe I just am looking for excuses to play the Carmen Sandiego theme again.
Look, I'm not blaming you for that.
People love it. Every time I play this, the text line blows up. Man, I used to watch that with my sister back in back in like 88. Jamar Cain. Not on the move, but being promoted.
Love it.
So, what a weird thing last year with Jamar Cain. You know, BK hired him, and then they go into spring last year. Like, the middle of spring football. They were like 2 weeks into spring, and Jamar just went deuces. Sean Payton hired him in Denver as the pass rush specialist assistant.
Sounds important.
And he left defensive line coach at LSU to be the pass rush specialist assistant with the Broncos.
You can't have a team without a pass rush specialist assistant.
Oh, I disagree. I think this might be the only team with a pass
Former LSU football assistants.
rush specialist assistant. But anyway, Jamar Cain now has been promoted to defensive line coach.
Okay.
So congrats to Jamar from the pass rush specialist assistant to the full-on defensive line coach job. It's interesting about Jamar, too, because I remember when LSU hired him.
Former LSU football assistants.
It was like, all right, it was a coup because you got him away from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And remember, you needed the bolster defensive line, and he had been recruiting a lot. I mean, LSU and Oklahoma recruit a lot of the same players. So he had a lot of those ins with some of those guys. So he came in, it was pretty natural transition here. With middle of spring, just deuces.
I'm going to go to Denver.
Yeah, I think
former LSU football assistants.
I think maybe Matt House and Jamar didn't exactly see eye to eye on how to coach the position. Let's say that. And it was like, maybe I'll go find a little something more stable.
That's fair.
A little healthier work environment is what Jamar was seeking. So, weird situation there.
Best of luck to him, though, man.
Yeah.
Sounds like a really nice promotion.
Yeah, thanks. You could go ahead and get rid of that now. You know what, Muse? I actually think that's going to start annoying me now. It might be one of those things where it's like the Macarena. You hear it once every decade, and you're like, oh, that's got to remember that. But when you hear it every day, you're like, oh, God, turn it off. You know what I mean?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could see. It might have run its course. It had a good run if it did, though.
Yeah. But a defensive line spot has been so weird at LSU just because of the turnover. And when you think going from Andre Carter to Jamar Cain, leaving the middle of spring, to promoting Gerald Chapman, to hiring Jimmy Lindsey. Jimmy Lindsey got sick. You moved John Jancic inside. You brought in Pete Jenkins. Now you've brought in Bo Davis, and you've also got Kevin Peoples, who, by the way, randomest thing in the world. Not randomest thing in the world, but a random thing. Pete Jenkins texted me on Saturday, and he was, I guess, he was at LSU. It was a picture of him with Kevin Peoples and Bo Davis. He was just like, LSU got some good ones. And Saturday, I happened to just randomly be at the CVS on the corner of Bluebonnet and Perkins. Just ran it. I was getting birthday candles. Very, very random. And it was the same day Coach Pete texted me, Kevin Peoples walks in. I go, Coach, you don't know me, but this is really random. Anyway, so took a picture. We sent it to Pete Jenkins. I don't know why I just told you that.
So you want to come on the show?
Probably, yeah, we'll do that eventually. Okay, hour number 2 coming up after SportsCenter.
AFR.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
We're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news. Iowa's Caitlin Clark will enter the WNBA draft. She's projected to be the #1 overall pick by the Indiana Fever. Just last night, Clark passed Lynette Woodard of Kansas to become the all-time major college women's basketball scoring leader. Speaking to the media for the first time since he got hurt, 76ers center Joel Embiid says he hopes to be back before the end of the regular season, no matter what the team's record may be. He hurt his left knee a month ago. The Sixers are 7-17 without him. The NFL draft starts 8 weeks from today, and our Mel Kiper Jr. isn't sure what to make of Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy.
I think it's the most difficult player in this draft to evaluate in terms of first-rounders. And maybe the most difficult quarterback to evaluate in years. Now, we missed on some of those, but we at least knew what we thought. We could be wrong, but we at least knew. We had a little conviction about that guy, good or bad. Here, with J.J. McCarthy, I just throw up my arms and say, I don't know.
Mel Kiper on Carlin versus Joe. Iowa corner Cooper DeJean says he's still recovering from a broken left leg, but will work out for NFL teams.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Cannon, coming on Friday. As the workouts get started at the Combine, I'll tell you the one prospect who has a lot riding on his performance. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tumpley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Doug Thompson in about 15 minutes. LSU baseball got a win at Rice 16-4. They'll practice today over at Minute Maid. Tomorrow they'll play the Texas Longhorns in a primetime matchup. Looking forward to that one, certainly. And 1 hour from right now, we'll talk to our buddy Kendall Rogers from D1 Baseball. The NFL Combine's going on. The workouts are beginning today, and they carry through the weekend. It goes by position, as many of you may know that. But already they've done medicals and interviews and all that sort of stuff. And I think that's, as I've often said, the most important part of the Combine is the opportunity to have a team's doctors and medical staff do their own in-depth evaluation of every prospect, and then also to sit down and have the interview to get to know the player that you might be investing large amounts of money in. So it caught a lot of people's attention when Jeff Ireland was speaking with Aaron Summers, who's the Saints team reporter there at NewOrleansSaints.com, and mentioned that the Saints are interviewing LSU quarterback Jayden Daniels. And I think that caught a lot of people's attention because most people assume Jayden is going to be off the board within the first 3 picks of the draft. It's most likely that Caleb Williams will be the #1 pick to the Bears, but you're certainly seeing a lot of mock drafts that are projecting Jayden #2 to Washington. If Drake May goes to Washington, Jayden, of course, could be the #3 pick to New England. And if somehow he makes it past #3, the conventional wisdom is that there would be a team that's a quarterback-needy team that would jump up and snag him. But as Jeff Ireland told Aaron Summers, quote, "It's part of doing our homework, as you can never be sure of what's going to happen in the draft," end quote. And I thought about that, and he ain't wrong. And there's plenty of examples of it. I was thinking back to the last time the Saints nearly drafted a quarterback in round 1. Really. And it was 2017. We all know the story, right? The Saints were sitting there at 11. Patrick Mahomes and Marshawn Lattimore were both on the board. Either way, the Saints knew. And look, Sean Payton's gone on the record with this. This isn't anything that I'm making up. Like, he's talked about this openly on the record. They had both those guys as highly rated players, the best player in the draft at their position. And so they were sitting there at 11 knowing that whatever happened at 10, they were getting one of those guys. Well, we know what happened. Kansas City leapfrogged the Saints and took Patrick Mahomes. The Saints took Lattimore one pick later. I went back today and looked at Mel Kiper's. I'm just using Mel, but I looked at Mel Kiper's final mock draft before the 2017 draft, just to show you how uncertain things can be. Myles Garrett went 1 to Cleveland. This was Mel Kiper's final mock draft. He had Jamal Adams 2 to the Niners. That was Solomon Thomas. And he had Solomon Thomas 3 to the Bears. Mitchell Trubisky went 3 to the Bears, if you remember. Leonard Fournette 4 to Jacksonville, which happened. And he had Marshawn Lattimore 5 to the Tennessee Titans from the Rams. So just as for instance of what people thought of Lattimore at that time, because it's been a while, been a minute, but to remind you, he had Deshaun Watson 7 to the Chargers, McCaffrey 8 to Carolina, which happened. As for the Saints at 11, where they took Lattimore, check this out. Kiper had Derek Barnett, the defensive end from Tennessee, going to the Saints. He had Trubisky going 12 to Cleveland, who was obviously already off the board. If you're wondering about the rest of the Saints draft, Kiper had the Saints. By the way, he had Ryan Ramczyk going 20 to the Broncos. But he picked, here it is. He had Mahomes. This is the last Mel Kiper's final mock draft before the 2017 draft. His final mock draft. Patrick Mahomes, who went 11, as we know. Went 10 to Kansas City. He had Patrick Mahomes going 25th overall to the Houston Texans. So to the point, like, oh, by the way, with the 31st pick, you had the Saints taking Adoree Jackson out of USC. So the point is, yes, the draft comes and strange things can happen and it can be unpredictable. So you never know. In that circumstance, right, where the Saints had Mahomes as the number one quarterback in the draft, their number one quarterback in the draft. Kiper didn't have Mahomes coming off the board until 25. That was the final mock draft. He goes 10 overall. Anyway, a couple of years ago, in 2022, for what it's worth, Kiper did have the Saints at 16 taking Trevor Penning. That was a pretty popular pick at that point in mock drafts, and the Saints did take Trevor Penning at number 16. What's interesting is that what we know is the Saints would move up and take Chris Olave, but he had the Saints at 19 making the pick and taking Kenny Pickett out of Pitt, and then one pick later, the Steelers taking Malik Willis, the quarterback from Liberty. As you might remember, Malik Willis, who Mel Kiper had going 20th overall in that draft, didn't come off the board till round 3. So yes, sometimes in the draft, all this to illustrate, sometimes in the draft, things happen that you don't expect. Listen, I don't think I would be stunned if Jayden Daniels is on the board at 14. I don't think that's going to happen. But what if you look at this draft as it plays out, and hypothetically, I mean, I don't know, but what happens if 1 and 2 are Caleb Williams, Drake May? And at 3, New England decides we're not going to take a quarterback, and they take Marvin Harrison, just hypothetically. Or Joe Alt. I don't know. They don't go quarterback. And the Cardinals are there at 4, and they've already paid Kyler Murray. They're not taking a quarterback. And the Chargers are at 5, and they've got Justin Herbert. They're not taking a quarterback. Would the Giants take a quarterback at 6? Maybe, but they got Daniel Jones. The Titans have taken a quarterback in each of the last 2 drafts with Malik Willis and Will Levis. Are they going to pick another quarterback in the top 10? The Falcons at 8 would make a lot of sense. So I'm not telling you that Jayden gets down to 14, but is there a scenario where Jayden Daniels makes it to 8? Sure. And the Bears pick 9th. So if Jayden's sitting there at 7 or 8, we know the Saints never stand pat. They're always looking to move up. Do you go up to 8 to get someone you think could be your franchise quarterback? Yeah, maybe. As Jeff Ireland said, you talk to Jayden Daniels as, quote, part of doing our homework, as you can never be sure of what's going to happen in the draft. Nobody 3 years ago thought, or 2 years ago, thought Malik Willis was going to last until round 3. But it's the draft, and sometimes things happen. So you dot your I's and you cross your T's, and you just make sure that it's going the way that it should. And if there's an opportunity to get aggressive, make a move, and maybe draft your franchise quarterback, and perhaps it's Jayden Daniels, awesome. Now I would put that at about a 3% likelihood. But in the possibility that it could happen, yeah, do your due diligence. Check all the boxes and see what happens on draft day. Maybe the Saints give us all a very pleasant surprise. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Oh, real quick, I want to remind you with HUDCO Roofing about our commercial division. I tell you all the time, of course, about residential, and I actually had a conversation today with a client who is in desperate need of a new roof and was having trouble getting a roofing company that would come out and work with their insurance and all that sort of stuff. Made one phone call, and we had someone on his roof today. It was literally within a matter of hours. We had someone at their house. And we've already started that process. But remember, we've also got a commercial division. So I'm going to give you the phone number to give a shout in the 225. It's 364-1007, 364-1007, 364-1007. If your commercial building needs a repair or it needs to be replaced, remember, at HUDCO, we have the silicone coating product, which is roughly half the cost of a roof replacement. Comes with a 20-year warranty, 20-year warranty. And by the way, because that's considered maintenance, that's a tax-deductible expense for your business. Let us explain it to you. Give us a call. 364-1007 in the 225. 364-1007 for HUDCO Roofing and HUDCOroofing.com. Call us today, 364-1007, 364-1007. All right, it's after further review. We apparently have movement on an expanded college football playoff, a further expanded college football playoff. I'm going to get to that in about 15 minutes, but when we come back, we'll head over to Houston. Our buddy Doug Thompson, former LSU pitcher now on the LSU Sports Radio Network, was on the call last night for LSU and Rice. He'll be at Minute Maid all weekend calling the 3 games for the Tigers, and we'll talk to the Duggar about some LSU baseball when we return on AFR.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about Action Industries. And, you know, there's so many great contractors that do work in the plants up and down the river. And there's so many huge contractors. But one of the main pain points for a lot of businesses is when you hire one of the gigantic contractors, are you getting their best? Meaning, let's say you need a 100-man job. For Action Industries, you are now their biggest priority. But for some of the massive contractors, that's kind of a blip. Like, at Action Industries, like, you're going to get a superintendent instead of a general foreman. You're going to get their absolute best. Look, you can call and you can ask for Chuck, who's the vice president. I mean, they mean what they say at Action Industries. It's a pleasure to have gotten to know them and to continue to tell you about the work that they've been doing since 1982. It's Action Industries. Check them out online, Action Industries.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
2-1 pitch, another moonshot at the scoreboard. That would make it over the scoreboard, and I think it hit the very top. The second home run of the game for Brady Neal, another no-doubter. A 3-run job. That'll put the Tigers up by a score of 16-4.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good player. I think he's one of the better players in our program. I felt that way last year. He's got some improving to do, but you can see the pure talent every time he plays, and sure happy he's here.
Doug Thompson on the call. Brady Neal, his second homer of the night. LSU blows out Rice 16-4, and Jay Johnson certainly happy to have Brady Neal on the team. Look, you got 3 really good options behind the dish with Hayden Travinski, Alex Milazzo, and Brady Neal. When you look at Neal, you're probably talking about the most complete player. Milazzo is the best of the 3 defensively. Travinski obviously has the most experience and the best power bat. But when you talk about the glove, the defense, the arm, the ability to hit for power and average, although we haven't seen the hit for average yet from Brady Neal. His season last year got cut short with a back injury. It's exciting to think about what he will continue to develop into during his time in Baton Rouge. And what a luxury for Jay Johnson to have all 3 of those guys, depending on what he needs on a given day, to have all 3 of them at his disposal. Brady Neal was great last night. All right, we're supposed to be talking to Doug Thompson, LSU Sports Radio Network. Having a little trouble connecting with the Duggar. He's over in Houston. So we'll see if we can connect with Doug. So I'll just sort of flip these segments and invert them. If you get Doug, let me know. He hasn't replied to my text, but we're supposed to be talking to Doug, but we'll see if we can get him. So I'll pivot and do this. There's a report today from ESPN that I'll read this line. There is optimism and, quote, momentum for a 14-team college football playoff starting in 2026. That, according to Bill Hancock, who spoke with ESPN earlier today. All right, we got him. Okay. Well, then I'll pivot. We'll do that later. Because right now, it's great to have baseball back. And it's great to talk to the Duggar. Duggar, how are you, man?
Doing good, Matt. Glad to hear the song is still alive.
Yeah, man. The man who sang the song isn't, however. He's dead.
No, yeah. The song's made it. The song's still on the airwaves, though. Thanks to you.
Of course.
Appreciate that.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. Hey, Doug, let's first of all, you were on the call for the game last night. Can you give us a sense of what the conditions were like there? Because, man, everybody in the outfield was having a hell of a time trying to make what looked like routine plays.
No, yeah, there was no such thing as the routine pop-up yesterday. First of all, it was cold, and then secondly, it was windy. 58, 59 degrees as of course the sun went down. It got more chilly, but the wind just was relentless, all night. And it was very clear, I'm sure, watching the game, that every fly ball, it was a circus out there. It was no fly ball was an easy catch last night. Normally that's what you're looking for, right? Easy pop flies. But I think it was a combination of a couple things. The wind was really bad, but the lights there are really weird. They're lower than normal. I'm not sure what the standard requirement or what the standard is for the height of the the lights around the field, but I'm willing to bet that theirs is 50 feet shorter, because a lot of those pop flies would go up above the light, and they'd almost lose them in the dark sky, and then it would come back down, of course, 20 feet to the right of what they thought because of the wind. So it was a rough night for everybody out there last night.
Well, except for maybe Cade Anderson. Rough night in the outfield, but Cade Anderson was really good on the bump. Actually, before I ask you about Cade, let me just ask you your opinion on playing those road games, Duggar. What's your thought on the potential benefit or not of going on the road and getting away from the box and playing games like that right now?
Well, the benefit is to prepare yourself for the road schedule in the SEC. I think you got to get the kids out and on the bus trip, and they bond in the hotel room. So I think getting out there on the road is important. When do you go? Is it too early? I don't think so. I think this is the perfect time to get out there. So I think it's beneficial to a team to start there, to get out there on the road before the SEC starts, as opposed to having their first real road weekend be, conference play.
So Cade Anderson was really good again, gave him 5 innings. Really the only blemish was an inning that was marred by a lot of bad defensive plays. 2 starts, Duggar, I'd love your thoughts on what you see from Cade Anderson here, 2 starts into his LSU career.
Yeah, his fastball is explosive, 91. It's been up to 95 miles an hour. He gets that induced vertical break. He gets the strike 3 swing and miss on the high fastball a lot, but he's having trouble with his command of his breaking ball, and it's very good. One of the better left-handed curveballs I can recall seeing. It's Randy Kiesler-like, if you recall, back in the late 90s.
Yeah. He was a big leaguer, man. Kiesler was a big leaguer.
He was, and part of it was because he had a very good curveball. But the difference is Randy Kiesler could throw it for a strike, and he could bounce it when he wanted. I think that's something Cade Anderson will do. Will pick up eventually, but for example, last night only 7 curveballs because 5 of them missed for a strike. So it's so good. He doesn't really need to worry about the bounce curveball, the 1-2 or 0-2 count, or the backdoor curveball to a righty. If he can just figure out how to throw just the standard number 2 for a strike, he's gonna be even tougher to deal with. But I think that's important and a must almost before he starts to get SEC hitters out.
Hey, Duggar, would you make I said this earlier in the show today. Is there a comp maybe to Ty Floyd? Just such an explosive fastball, but struggled to find that secondary pitch?
Yeah, it's similar to that. But in no disrespect to Ty Floyd, but I think Cade Anderson's breaking ball is a little bit better. It's a snapdragon. Even when it is a strike, sometimes the umpire doesn't call it a strike because it's wicked and it can fool even the umpire. But he's not getting any swing and misses on it right now. And the reason that he's not getting any swing and misses is because I think very early on they see that he's not able to control it. And if hitters know that a pitcher only has one pitch and they just have to sit and wait on that one to show up, especially when you get into the SEC, and a lot of college hitters can handle that. But so far, he's been able to pitch out of some jams and elevate that fastball, get ahead in the count with his fastball. I just think he's going to be that much better when he gets that curveball over for a strike more often.
Doug Thompson's with us, former Tiger great, national champion, now on the LSU Sports Radio Network. He'll be on the call this weekend over at Minute Maid. Hey, before we get to Minute Maid, I want to ask you about the catchers. What a luxury to have three guys that you trust and can throw out there in any situation. When you were pitching, what would you have preferred? Like, I mean, if you're taking the ball on a given day, Doug, and you're choosing among these three and it was your pick, like what would be the characteristics that you would want behind the dish?
Well, if I had my preference as a pitcher, obviously I'd go with the better defender, right? And who's exactly the better defender? I mean, I don't know. I think it's pretty close. I think Milazzo is probably overall the better defensive catcher. But then again, you got Brady and Trubinsky hitting balls over the light. So as a pitcher, I also like people that could hit the ball over the fence. So it's pretty much it was a double-edged sword. But it reminds me very much of the 1997 catching when Earnhardt, Cressy, and Conan Horton kind of were a three-headed monster back there. They were all serviceable, and they all did well behind the plate, and, of course, they could all hit. So it's a very similar situation to that where you really can't lose. In fact, you just have this ability now to rest your catcher for certain situations and match up catchers against certain pitchers. It's really a great luxury.
Doug Thompson for a couple more minutes here. Let's look ahead to the weekend. Tomorrow is going to be a huge opportunity. I mean, I get it, Doug. It's February, or I guess tomorrow will be March. But what are you, aside from winning, man, what would you like to see tomorrow when LSU plays Texas?
I'd like to see Gage Jump dominate Texas. I have little question that he's a Friday night guy with, that type of stuff, Matt, just seeing him so far. But I'd like to see him get 4 or 5 innings of work against Texas, get up to 50, 55 pitches, and dominate. Because, I feel like if he's able to dominate Texas, then that could be an indication that he'll be a bona fide starter when conference play starts. So that would really be the first thing. And the second thing is how this team manages what is the first, big game of the year, right? There's going to be a lot of excitement around the game. It'll be at Minute Maid, a lot of emotions, and I'm curious to see how this kind of new team responds to that type of game.
Who do you think among the new players is most likely to handle that?
Most likely to handle the pressure?
Kind of what you were describing there, right? The pressure, the moment.
Yeah, I think Bingham's been in that moment, as a new player. Braswell playing at South Carolina has had some big games. For example, the last year when Paul Skeens pitched against South Carolina, right? So he's been under the, he's had the big moments and the big games and the big crowds. So I think those two probably, just because of their experience, will handle it the best.
Hey, Duggar, before you go, Jay said before the season started, like every day, and he's just going to take his lineup card and he's going to put Jones at first, he's going to put Kling at center, put Tommy White at third, and then everything else is going to be guys figuring it out and earning spots. So far, a couple of weeks into the season, who has impressed you most where?
Well, let's call Stephen Milam an outlier, and I'll try to think of another player because I think that's the obvious choice. I mean, he's played well at both positions in the middle. He's hit well from both sides of the plate. He runs well. And look, he's not just poking 5 hoppers through the infield. He's hitting balls hard all over the field. So I think Milam's been the most impressive and, for me, the most out of nowhere. Another player that's new that I've been impressed with. Let me think that through.
It doesn't even have to be a new player. I'm just saying, someone trying to go earn a job.
Well, you know what? I would say Jared Jones. Well, other than those three, I guess is what you're at.
Yeah.
Let me think about that. Let's see.
We've seen Pearson platoon and right. We've seen you mentioned Milam at both spots on the middle infield. We've seen Brown in right as well. Bingham in left. See, I think that's another safe one too, Doug. It seems like Bingham's going to be your everyday left fielder.
Yeah, I mean he's got the at bat. He's been around for a while now. I think you're right there. But I mean, look, Brown and Pearson have shown some things. Right, Brown is really twitchy and he's put the ball in play. I think he's got 6 or 7 hits here early on, and he obviously can play the outfield. So he's been fun to watch. But I think Josh Pearson's got to be a part of this somehow. I mean, I really like his at bats. I think he gives you a good at bat every time. I don't know that he's seeing the ball great right now, but we know he can play in the outfield. So I just feel like Josh Pearson, with all that Omaha experience, has to be a part of this at some point. But Matt, to finish up, the thing that I've taken away the most from this team so far is what I was going to say about Jared Jones. Like, Jared Jones has already taken 25 sliders that are whether either in the zone, but a good pitch, you know what I mean? Like a good pitcher's pitch, or just out of the zone that he would have swung and missed last year. So it's not really so much the balls he's swinging at, it's the balls that he's not swinging at that I think are the biggest improvement. And honestly, man, he's really done a great job over at first base, too.
It's a great point, man. He had to cut down on the swing and miss, and he's done that so far this year.
Yep.
Duggar, big 3-game series over at Minute Maid. Enjoy the big league park. We always appreciate a couple of minutes, man. We'll do it again soon.
Thanks for having me, Matt. Good talking to you, buddy.
All right, man. The one and only Doug Thompson on Twitter at DT9Tigers. Y'all give him a follow. Doug and Bill will be on the call this weekend from Minute Maid with Chris Blair with the Tiger basketball team. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. Hey, today is the last day of that promotion. Remember, they extended the Bridgestone Firestone promotion. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, you go to ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Hit the promotions tab right there at the top. You'll see the drop down, all promotions, and the first thing that pops up you'll see are the Bridgestone and Firestone offers. Up to $180 off instantly on Bridgestone, up to $170 off for new select Firestone tires instantly. As well, you can get free installation when you use your Shaw Bills credit card. That ends today. It was supposed to end middle of the month. They extended that through the end of this month. Today's the last day. So, I mean, if you've been thinking about getting new tires, go now before they close today and take advantage of these great promotions over at Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. Of course, home of the Charlie's Dozen. Every time you buy tires at Shaw Bills, they extend that dozen benefits to you and every vehicle in your family. That's the benefit of doing business over at Shaw Bills. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. Okay, it's after further review. Thanks to the Duggar for joining us. I want to get a full preview of the weekend at Minute Maid with Kendall Rogers. We'll do that in 30 minutes from right now. We'll take a closer look at Texas, at the Raging Cajuns, at Texas State. So we'll do that coming up in about 30 minutes from right now with Kendall Rogers. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, I'll reset what we had started to talk about there, which is an expanded expanded college football playoff, which we know is moving to 12, but apparently there's momentum for it to go to 14. I'll give you some tidbits and the absolute latest on that next.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You've been in an accident. It's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 30 years. Get Gordon and get it done. Go to getgordon.com. Go to all social media. You can learn more about the G team and the growing members of the G team. The newest is LaTanya Stone, LSU women's golfer, has now joined the G team. So, like we talk about all the time, it's not just football at LSU, but it's all of the sports, men's and women's, the Olympic sports, not the Olympic or non-revenue sports. Gordon's extending great opportunities and great promotion for student athletes at so many different sports, at so many different universities as well. So we love all the work Gordon's doing there and all the work that Gordon continues to do with Gordon Gives, the charitable arm of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You can learn more about that at GordonGives.com. That's GordonGives.com. But you've been injured. You need an attorney. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
Hey, boat owners, listen up. Go see Front to Back Boat Service at the Lamar Dixon Boat Show March 15th through 17th and take advantage of some incredible Expo exclusive deals that they're going to have. The 23 product is still at the 23 pricing. So if you want forward-facing sonar, you want a custom stereo system, act now. It's starting to get busy. Get your boat ready for the summer with Front to Back Boat Service. Go see them at Lamar Dixon March 15th through 17th.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends April 30th, 2024.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
So Bill Hancock was speaking with ESPN.com, and a source, Bill Hancock, of course, the executive director of the College Football Playoff. Source told ESPN there's optimism and, quote, momentum for a 14-team playoff starting in 2026. So we know for this season and for 2025, there will be the 12-team playoff. 2026 is when the TV contract that ESPN's already agreed to goes into effect. ESPN has agreed that starting in 2026, ESPN will spend an average of $1.3 billion, an average of $1.3 billion over 6 seasons. And during that, starting in 2026, it looks like there's momentum to move to a 14-team playoff. There are 3 main issues that need to be addressed. The format, the finances, obviously, how you're going to divvy up all the revenue, and then who governs it. So, a couple of things. Initially, the automatic qualification has kind of been the issue, and so they're looking at how to manage that with automatic bids. For example, one proposal is 3 automatic qualifying spots for the Big Ten and the SEC. So 3 SEC, 3 Big Ten automatically. That's 6. 2 for the Big 12 and the ACC. That's 10. 1 for the Group of 5, 11. And then 3 at-large spots, which could in theory, go to another SEC or Big Ten school, whatever it may be, but essentially guaranteeing 3 spots for the Big Ten, 3 spots for the SEC. That's not definitely happening. It's one thing being discussed. ESPN reports one high-ranking official involved in the discussions said that the presidents, chancellors in the SEC and the Big Ten are having conversations about whether to continue their NCAA membership. Essentially, right now, the SEC and the Big Ten are considering, do we even stay in the SEC? Or, excuse me, in the NCAA. I mean, it's only a matter of time before college football is no longer governed by the NCAA. And all of this saber-rattling by the Big Ten and the SEC might be accelerating that. It is a pivotal point in the history of college athletics. The SEC and the Big Ten are the most well-positioned, and there is no reason why they shouldn't cash in as such. The finances. In the old model, 80% of the revenue went to the Power 5, 20% went to the Group of 5. The new model is going to be weighted more toward the SEC and the Big Ten. Somewhere between 25 and 30% of the total revenue to the SEC and the Big Ten. And then 15 to 20% to the ACC and the Big 12, is 6 to 10% to the smaller leagues, then 1% to Notre Dame. So that's what they're looking at right now. And then the big rule of governance is eliminating unanimity as a requirement for change. Like right now, in order to change the playoff, there has to be a unanimous vote. You have the 10 conference commissioners and the Notre Dame president. The problem with that is like the Pac-12, which is really the Pac-2, most recently held up and postponed moving from a 6-6 model to a 5-7 model in the 12-team playoff. Like the two, Washington State and Oregon State held up the entire thing because it wasn't unanimous. They weren't voting. So, like, that can't happen. And so, essentially, the SEC and the Big Ten are like, yeah, we're just going to do what we want to do because we don't need any of you. You could have a college football that only consists of the 18 teams in the Big Ten and the 16 teams in the SEC. You could. I mean, the Big Ten, remember, now also consists of USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington, and Texas and Oklahoma are coming into the SEC. You got a couple of brands in the ACC, Florida State, Clemson. You got some in the Big 12 remaining. Is there really much interest in Arizona State? Maybe. But you get Oklahoma State. But you get the point. Like, you could do college football with just the SEC and the Big Ten. You could. And it would be all right. It would be just fine. So they have all the leverage to say, this is what we're going to do. Are you on board? Because if not, we're going to go do it without you. And you'll just get nothing. Because the SEC and the Big Ten could go create its own league of 30 whatever teams that is. 30, let's see, 8. What's 18 and 16? There are 34 teams. You can go create a 34-team league and keep all the money for yourselves. Okay. Is anybody really going to miss Texas Tech? Are you really going to shed a tear over not having BYU and Utah? Is North Carolina and Virginia Tech gonna decimate college football because they're not there? Not really. You want to come on? You'll come. Okay, come play. That's cool. You can come play, but you're not going to dictate things. That's essentially where the SEC and the Big Ten are right now, and it's going to move to 14. For all the people that continue to cry and moan and wail and gnash their teeth about you're ruining the sacred regular season, and what about the CarQuest Bowl? And shut up. Shut up. The sacred regular season and the stupid bowl structure is and always has been a total farce. You have had the wool pulled over your collective eyes forever. They have sold you nothing but intangibles. They've tried to tug at your heartstrings with the stupid intangibles to ruin the sport we all love. And now it's all coming to a head. And it's going to be great. More teams, will play more meaningful games later into the season. You're going to get rid of trash pile FCS games in November. You're going to get rid of all the dumb games nobody wants to see. You're going to have more games people care about, more teams playing meaningful games, home playoff games. What? Instead of having players opt out, dudes are going to be staying because they're going to get home playoff games. You'd rather LSU go play in Tampa in front of 20,000 people against a Wisconsin team that's got half their roster opted out? Hard pass. Give me home playoff games. More of them. I don't know what y'all so scared of. Intellectually, you know this is true because it's great in literally every other sport in the history of mankind. But some of y'all just fear change so much. I'm just here to tell you. Whether you're ready to go walk through that door or not, I'm standing right behind you, pushing your ass right through the door. I'm here to be the one who's going to grab you by your ankles, just yank you through the door. You're standing on the high dive board, so scared to jump, and I'm behind you. I'm just going to push your ass in. That's what I'm going to do. And yes, I keep editing myself. I'm censoring myself today, even though I can't say that word. I'm trying to be respectful. There's kids in the car. Okay, it's after further review. 15 minutes from right now, Kendall Rogers will be here. SEC Football Media Days, the schedule, the order of appearance was announced earlier today. We'll get to that in about 45 minutes. Cam Jordan, Alvin Kamara, are the two of them not long for the Saints anymore? We'll talk about that in about 30 minutes. God, we got a ton to do. We'll break. We'll do Tigers and the Pros next. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, two amazing hotel properties in Baton Rouge. The Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown. Hey, remember evenings at the Renaissance. Love telling you about evenings at the Renaissance. This is your last chance. This is tomorrow. I need to check to see if they're out of tickets. I don't know if they're out of tickets. It's a free event, but it's your last chance for the Noel Distillery tasting is tomorrow, Friday, March the 1st, 6 to 8:30 p.m. It's going to be an evening of exceptional spirits. It's free, but they're limited spots, so you got to get your tickets. So you can call over there to the Renaissance at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. You can enjoy Tallulah, which has, of course, the indoor-outdoor flow with the terrace outside. Representatives from Noel Family Distillery will be there. You try all their spirits and real cool craft cocktails. Have some dinner. It'll be a great night over at the Renaissance Hotel. It's the Watermark downtown and the Renaissance Southtown in Baton Rouge.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further. like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always...
After further review with Matt Moscona.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Glad to have you rolling along with us. Musso as Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Yeah, we're going in that order.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no problem. Paul Skeens. It was Paul Skeens Day for the Pittsburgh Pirates. They were facing the Orioles. Really cool moments here. So the first 2 hitters that Skeens faced was former number 1 pick Jackson Holliday and then former number 1 pick Adley Rutschman. So a lot of former number 1. Yeah, a lot of former number 1 on former number 1. Skeens did get the last laugh. Holliday grounds out. Rutschman flew out. All in all, shutout inning for Paul Skeens. No hits. Didn't walk or strike out anybody. Hit 102 on the scoreboard gun a couple of times, so he's still good at throwing fastballs.
Man, here was the Adley Rutschman one. I said the first one with the guy that grounded out.
It's good. I mean, the Rutschman, you kind of got to go a little bit in there. I meant to note that on the email. That's my bad.
It ain't my fault.
Well, I didn't say it was.
Let's see. There it is. If you're listening on radio, Paul Skeens rocks, fires. Rutschman pops up to right field. Shallow fly. It's actually a deep fly to the warning track.
Oh. But caught. Skeens is walking off the mound.
Yeah, Paul pitched it.
Before it was even caught.
You know if they got it or not.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. One more spring training update for you. Josh Smith today. Big day. Yeah, man. Get it all out. Big day for Josh Smith. 1 for 2, an RBI double, and a couple runs scored. Hitting 400 early in the spring is Josh Smith.
Also,
yeah,
Josh Smith now wearing number 8.
You know what? I saw that. I forgot where I saw that, but I did see that. And
you know where he wore number 8?
I do. At Catholic High. It's his Twitter. It's his Twitter handle too, isn't it? At Josh Smith 8 or something like that. Okay.
When do y'all see William Schmidt?
I've seen him plenty, but
man, all you Catholic High haters, y'all gonna be super fired up next year. Y'all better pray that kid shows up on campus.
You want to talk about a breaking ball? Woo! My goodness.
Woo!
Naz Reid. Follow up. No.
I was just in the habit of doing it.
I get it. You see the new DJ LeMahieu right now? Yeah. No, not DJ. 26 minutes for Naz. 19 points. That follows up 22 from last night. 6 rebounds and just a filthy little spin move in the lane with the layup. Yeah? I mean, the big man, nimble on the feet.
Like, that's the reason why. That play right there.
Yes.
Is why when Naz Reid was at LSU, I kept telling all you dorks that he was going straight to the league.
And he did. And ultimately he did. And it's going very well.
There aren't God didn't make a lot of humans that big that can do that.
Yeah.
Left side of the lane with the left hand, pivot, spin, up and under. Dude, 6'10".
Yeah. And like 240?
Doesn't matter.
Something like that.
He's 6'10".
Matters a little bit.
You think Andrew Del Piero, God bless, could do that?
No.
How about that pull?
Yeah, but I don't think so. We got some Corn Ferry Tour action. Curtis Thompson, strong back nine to get the round back on track.
There you go, Muse.
Stumbled out of the gates a little, but got it back on track. Ended up at 1 over par. He can have a good round tomorrow and really get back in the hunt. And then Ben Taylor, currently over at PGA National, is 3 under par through 17 and in the top 30 here in round one. So keep an eye on the former Tigers there on the links this week. That's Tigers and the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com. Gentlemen, if you are thinking of popping the question, there's only one place to go. The place where they only sell diamonds from mines, never handmade diamonds, never lab-made diamonds, something that you're going to be thrilled to pass on through your family for generations, that she's going to be thrilled to show off every day. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com. Hour 3 next.
AFR.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news. Iowa's Caitlin Clark announces today on social media she will enter the WNBA draft. After 4 record-breaking years with the Hawkeyes, Clark is projected to be the first overall pick by the Indiana Fever. Joel Embiid of the 76ers says he hopes to be back on the floor before the end of the regular season. Embiid's been out for a month with a meniscus injury in his left knee. He's averaging 35 points, 11 boards, and 6 assists this season. As the Chicago Bears figure out what to do with the number 1 pick in the upcoming draft, ESPN's Dan Orlovsky has changed his mind about what they should do.
I have not thought that Caleb Williams was a lock at number 1 because I thought Drake May would be the guy. I was wrong in that. Jayden Daniels should be the guy. If I were the Chicago Bears right now, I would take Jayden Daniels out of LSU. That is not a knock on Caleb Williams. That is a plus in Jayden Daniels.
Dan Orlovsky on Get Up. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports another Saints player restructures his contract. 8-time Pro Bowl defensive end Cameron Jordan gets a new deal.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Busy weekend ahead. LSU at the Astros Classic over there at Minute Maid. Our buddy Kendall Rogers, I assume, will have a spot perched high atop the field there at Minute Maid. He's with us now. How are you, dude?
I'm doing all right, man. I tell you what, it's good to be back in Todd Peterson season.
Todd
Peterson. Oh,
yeah!
Nice. Hey.
My guy brought his fastball right from jump. Boom! Take that, Muso. Todd Peterson.
I just gave you a Paul Skeens heater. You were not ready for it.
That was so good. Hey, you'll be in Houston, this weekend?
I will definitely be in Houston. I'm looking forward to it, to say the least.
What would you say you're most looking forward to with LSU in Texas tomorrow?
Well, I have not seen who Jay Did Jay announce who he's starting tomorrow?
He hasn't. It kind of feels, Kendall, like they're trending toward Gage Jump getting the ball. That's what I think is going to happen.
Interesting. Okay, well, I guess the thing I was going to look forward to would be if they were going to start Thatcher Hurd, can he actually give them a really good start? And so I guess that is my key to the weekend in general, is I think if you look at LSU as a whole, when you look at the starting pitching, obviously the offense, especially the last 2 games, look at the offense is starting to kind of find its way a little bit. And I thought that would happen because I thought that LSU was just, with the teams they were playing, they were kind of sleepwalking a little bit. Now there's a sense of urgency. Now that you're playing Texas and some good teams this weekend, there seems to be a sense of urgency offensively. So my attention kind of turns to pitching to where, Luke Holman has been pretty good. Thatcher Hurd, I thought at the end of last year, was his pitching as well as anyone. He has not looked great so far this year. So I think the biggest thing for me is twofold. One, how does Thatcher Hurd pitch this weekend? 2, can Gage Jump give LSU some length? If he can, that's a big storyline coming out of the weekend in Houston.
Yeah, just to be clear, Kendall, Jay hasn't announced, and I don't know for certain what they're going to do. We haven't seen Gage Jump since last Thursday, and it would stand to reason, this would be the spot you put him out there. And I think that's probably what he's going to do, but he hasn't announced yet. So, I guess
I like it.
Yeah, well, I'll wait and see what he does. By the way, how do you feel about that? I mean, you obviously got to see Gage jump and at UCLA before he came here. But what do you think about the options with her, Jump, Holman, and then obviously Kate Anderson's pitching really well also?
Yeah, I mean, I like where they are. I mean, I think they're going to find the right mix, and I actually do believe that Thatcher Hurd will kind of figure things out a little bit. I would like the risk of throwing Gage Jump, though, because he has the best stuff of any of those three guys. So if he can go out there and let's say he can give them a little bit of length and give them, 4 or 5 innings and a start and give them put them in a position to win in the later innings, then that's obviously a big win. But I kind of like it. I mean, I think when you look at Jump, he's got premier stuff out of all three of those guys, and it's a good mix. And it's a mix I think will work out as the season progresses.
Kendall Rogers with his D1 baseball. LSU, I'm sure, will face LeBaron Johnson, and I went and looked up the box score from last year. He had 9 strikeouts in 5 innings. He was a handful. Does he stink? Please tell me he stinks now.
I can tell you he does not stink.
Dang.
I don't think he gave up a run again last week. The thing about LeBaron, I will say this to kind of soothe LSU fans a little bit. Like, there's no doubt he's up to 94, 95, can bump a 6, has a really good breaking ball. I love the steady head he has on his shoulders. But I will say this, LSU faced him in a pitcher-friendly ballpark last year. LSU is now facing him in a ballpark that I would not classify as pitcher-friendly, especially at the left field at Minute Maid Park. So it's a little different environment, I think. And frankly, there's a big difference between LeBaron Johnson throwing against LSU on a Tuesday night and LeBaron Johnson throwing against LSU in Friday night in front of what I think is probably going to be 15,000, 16,000 LSU fans. It's going to be a little different vibe tomorrow night.
That's awesome, man. It's going to be a lot of fun over there. I love these sort of preseason classics, the way they go. If you would, Kendall, just a thumbnail on this Texas team for LSU fans who maybe haven't seen them or don't know much about them.
Yeah, the biggest thing with Texas is that, I mean, it's weird to say this about UT, but like outside of LeBaron Johnson, they really don't have a ton of talent on the mound. I think if you can get in the Texas bullpen, Gage Bohm has been a nice bright spot for them in the bullpen, but really outside of him, their bullpen is very vulnerable. So the big thing I think LSU is going to try to do early, and maybe Jay doesn't even care about this, maybe he's like, hey, we're just going to slug our way. But what I would do if I'm LSU is make LeBaron throw a lot of pitches early, get in their bullpen. I think that's where Texas can be had. Offensively, the big storyline for them so far, Jalen Flores, a guy that we all kind of thought would be a premier freshman last year, ended up hitting 154. He's gotten off to a fast start, and he's one of those guys that, he thrives in big situations. 2 of his home runs so far this year, I think he's got 3 or 4, but 2 of them have been with bases loaded. He loves the big moment. I think LSU, if they can keep Jalen Flores from getting on a roll tomorrow night, I think they should actually handle Texas offensive lineup decently well.
Wow. Is there, as LSU moves into Saturday, Sunday against ULL and Texas State, anything of note with those 2 teams that are worth keeping an eye on?
Yeah, I mean, for Texas State, I saw those guys actually last week in Round Rock, and the big key for them is keeping their fab freshman, Ryan Farber, from getting them going. Just a really fun player, man. He's like 5'9", 5'10". He's kind of a little guy, but, man, he really has a mature offensive approach. He makes hard contact, and he's at the top of that lineup. He kind of gets them going. Keeping him at bay is going to be important. And then for the Cajuns, this is a big weekend for them because they took a big step back last weekend. I don't know how in the world they almost got shut out twice they might have. I can't remember if they scored a run on Saturday or not. But, I mean, they almost got shut out twice by a Rice team that, I mean, is going to turn out to not be very good. And so this is a big weekend for them because I think the Sun Belt's ultra competitive this year. And if they have another, 1 and 2 weekend like this, they're going to need to make that up in the Sun Belt, and that will not be easy. But there's no doubt. I mean, Kyle DeBarge, one of the better players in college baseball at the middle. I don't know who LSU is going to face on the mound, if it'll be Jack Martinez. But Jack Martinez is a guy with premier stuff, but I think they throw him on a Friday. But needless to say, big weekend for Matt Deggs and company, and we know they'll be ready to play LSU, and I have no doubt that LSU will be ready to play them.
Cajuns have Vanderbilt on Friday as well, so that's That's yeah, man. That's tough.
Good luck.
That's a tough weekend. It's a tough back-to-back there on Friday, Saturday. So, Kendall Rogers with us, D1 Baseball, of course, at Kendall Rogers. Y'all want to give him a follow. Speaking of, when you look at the rest of the conference slate this weekend, there are some nice matchups, man. We're going to get to see Florida against Miami. Texas A&M plays Arizona State. There's South Carolina, Clemson. What's most interesting or intriguing to you this weekend in the league?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is I've got my eye on Florida and South Carolina. I mean, Florida, I feel like I say this every single year, every single time we rank them high, but they haven't looked great. I want to see kind of a killer instinct out of those guys this weekend down in Miami. I think this is a statement weekend for them potentially. South Carolina, for me, the big storyline for them is they've pitched dramatically better than I thought they would coming into the season, and they have Clemson this weekend. So does that continue? And then up in Arlington, A&M has looked like the 1917 Yankees the first 2 weeks against Wagner and McNeese State. But, I mean, the competition changes a little bit this weekend with USC and Arizona State. Jace Lavalette, the former LSU commit, obviously the big storyline for them. I mean, I think he's got like 7 bombs already, and his OPS is like 1.6, so he's off to a really good start. And then Brady Montgomery, who they got out of the portal, is hitting over 400 with multiple home runs as well. So, how do they do? Facing much better competition this weekend. And then the last one for me, Matt, Ole Miss and Iowa is actually very, very intriguing. Both those teams took a big step back a couple weeks ago. Iowa this past week at the Jacksonville Classic, they did not win a game there. This is a situation for a preseason ranked team in Iowa to where they need to win this series. If they don't, I mean, they're really going to have to go scorched earth in the Big Ten to make up for those 2 bad weekends.
He's Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball. Make sure you're subscribed up. Great time to do it as we're knocking on the door. Conference playing a huge, huge weekend across the SEC and across the country this weekend. Hey, man, you're the best. We always appreciate it. Enjoy the baseball over at Minute Maid.
Yeah, brother. We'll see a lot of LSU fans there tomorrow night. Y'all have fun.
Todd Peterson.
Ted Peterson. There we go. Attaboy, Matt.
He's just the best. Thanks, Kendall. We appreciate it. That is Kendall Rogers, of course, from D1 Baseball. Kendall brought his fastball. Right? It was sharp, Muse. He went with high heat, right on your chin. Brushed you back off the plate.
I thought I actually handled that well.
I thought you did too.
I mean, it wasn't that delayed.
No, it was good. High heat, brush off the plate.
Huh?
Made you dust yourself off a little bit there.
Got to watch out for the breaking ball now.
Here it comes. Got you thinking about the high heat now. There we go, Musey fan. You're way out in front of him, Muse.
Yeah. On the front foot there. Look at him.
It's after further review. Are Cam Jordan and Alvin Kamara's days in New Orleans numbered? I want to talk about that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Buying or selling commercial or residential. If you need a realtor, you need the absolute best. You need Darren James. You go to agent225.com, agent225.com, or you can always call Darren. I'll give you his cell number here. 335-7666, 335-7666. When I talk about Darren James, of course, it's Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. LPT, the fastest growing real estate company ever, literally ever. They've gone from 1 to 8,000 agents in their first year in business. You want to know why? Call Darren James and learn more. And of course, always tell you that Darren, what other realtor does daily radio ads promoting their listings? Your home. This one on Grandfield in Baton Rouge, right there in Lexington Estates. Gorgeous 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 3,400 square feet. It's listed right now. Check it out at agent225.com. Agent225.com for Darren James.
Think real estate. Think Darren James.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
No surprise, but the Saints continued their path toward cap compliance. Every day it's a different player. Thursday was 8-time Pro Bowl defensive end Cam Jordan, the latest to restructure his contract. Adam Schefter was the first to tweet it earlier today. But Schefter's initial tweet actually had an error in it. Schefter noted that the deal would free up $1.5 million against the Saints' salary cap. The problem is that's not exactly right. The Saints could have restructured the deal and saved only $1.5 million, but the Saints went ham, as they are wont to do, and as Mike Triplett and Nick Underhill noted, the Saints actually restructured to save more than $9 million against the salary cap. So the Saints now have gotten closer to cap compliance, somewhere in the $12 to $15 million range. Checking, kind of updating Spotrac for the official numbers on how they look right now as they get closer to shaving that $80 million. Some $80 million they were over the cap. As of right now, I don't think this yet accounts for the official numbers of from Cam Jordan yet. But when it does, we'll update it and let you know. But there's two. Cam is one of two veteran Saints players that kind of wanted to talk about today with the news around them. And with Cam, his salary cap number falls for 2024. But the problem is when you do a deal like this and you restructure, it pushes more money into future years, which means his cap number for next year goes north of $20 million, and it's still going to be in the $15 million range for 2026. So, unfortunately, this is the problem with the restructuring. Yes, it gets you within cap compliance now in the short term, but you're pushing money into future years. And when it comes to veteran players like this, the unfortunate part is now you continue to have to pay at an exorbitant rate for players that are far past their prime. And unfortunately, we have to say that about Cam Jordan, who, when you look at the past couple of seasons, he has seen his production drop dramatically. The Saints were, one of the worst teams in the NFL this past year at sacking the quarterback. And Cam Jordan tied his career low in sacks, the same number that he had in his rookie season. So, if you're gonna commit the type of resources you are to Cam Jordan, he's only going to give you 2 sacks. Are you really getting a return? And so there's the 2-part question here, which is you're asking about maintaining locker room and culture and having a veteran player like that, but then it's also what are you paying? What are you getting as a return on the field in that investment? When Dennis Allen met with reporters at the Combine, he talked about establishing culture and buy-in with his guys. And we've talked about that so much because it was something that was so important for Sean Payton, and it feels like it's eroded. Here was Dennis Allen.
Well, I think it all starts with me. And so, I think setting the mindset for the type of team that we're going to be, having that filter down through coaching staff and the veteran players, leaders on our football team. And we've got to make sure that we're holding everybody accountable to the standard that we need to have the type of success that we want to have. And look, everybody wants to win, and I think it's my job to teach what it takes to win. And then everybody's got to be held accountable to that standard.
It all sounds like the right thing. I just don't, as you know how I feel about it, I just don't believe Dennis Allen's the guy that knows that. And you want to have a great locker room, and you need that great locker room. But just in the way that we saw Drew Brees pass that leadership torch, that mantle, as he retired to Cam Jordan and Demario Davis, great veteran players, you're getting to the point to where those guys are in turn going to have to pass the torch to whoever's next. The real question is, who is that on this team? And I don't have a great answer for you. I don't have a great answer of who the young veteran is that's ready to be the vocal leader on this team. I mean, maybe a guy like Brian Brzee or Chris Olave could emerge into that role, but I don't think either of them are there yet. Maybe it's Eric McCoy. Ryan Ramczyk is clearly nearing the end of his career. His injuries look like they're gonna cut him short. I would have said Alvin Kamara as well, but it was so interesting today to see this piece from Bill Barnwell over at ESPN.com, and he's basically tiering all the potential free agents position by position. And he's got, when he did running backs today, Saquon was his only tier 1 running back. Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones were his tier 2 running backs. He had Alvin Kamara in his tier 3. Austin Eckler, Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Swift, Alvin Kamara, and Joe Mixon. I mean, that's what we're talking about now with Alvin Kamara. And the write-up on Kamara essentially is suggesting that Kamara should be a cap casualty, but for the fact that the way the Saints structure deals probably won't allow for him to be a cap casualty. He's probably going to restructure his deal as the way that it's probably going to work. And they could save $12 million by designating him as a post-June 1 release. So the question comes now, do you want Kamara on the roster? Do you need to save the $12 million? Is he worth it, really, is the question. And I hate to say this because I love Alvin Kamara. As a lifelong Saints fan, I would put him on the very, very short list of most fun players I have ever watched in the black and gold. His early career was so dynamic and so fun to watch. His playmaking ability, both as a runner and as a pass catcher, you adore a player like that. But I think it's on all of us as fans, or them as coaches, or as front office executives, to think of things though as they are, and not what they were. Because what Alvin Kamara is now is a running back who a year ago averaged 3.9 yards per carry and 6.2 yards per reception. Those were both career lows. Last year, Alvin Kamara had one receiving touchdown. That was a career low. Last year, Alvin Kamara played in 13 games, which tied a career low. Alvin Kamara has not played a full season since his rookie year. And there's a reason you went and signed Jamal Williams in free agency last year and drafted Kendall Miller. It's because you know, as amazing as Alvin Kamara was, what Alvin Kamara is no longer amazing. He's, as Bill Barnwell put it, a tier 3 running back, a capable starter. But is a capable starter worth the $12 million you could save if you designated him a post-June 1 release? I think what you have to ask yourself is, do you have a better option? Like, remove emotion. I mean, Alvin Kamara is going to be in the Saints Hall of Fame one day. He's awesome. And we've loved watching him play. But financially, does it make sense to have a player that's clearly trending down as he approaches 30, can't make it a full season, it's coming off a year where he had career lows in all these different categories? Yeah. I mean, the answer is yes. If you can remove emotion from it, like if you can take away the fact that we all love Alvin Kamara and Cameron Jordan, and say, is it worth paying these players what you're paying them for the production you're getting? And the answer is unequivocally no. They're not producing at the level you're paying them. And that happens. It happens with every great player in every sport. You eventually get to that point where you have to make this decision. I don't know what it's going to take for the Saints to make this decision, but clearly they decided they're keeping Cam Jordan. It was the restructure today. We'll see what they decide to do with Alvin Kamara, because he could be a cap casualty. And honestly, considering you invested a high draft pick in Kendall Miller and you paid Jamal Williams last year, he should be a cap casualty. It's just hard to acknowledge that because of your emotional connection to him. So it's an unenviable task trying to put these rosters together, especially when you love players like that. I love Alvin Kamara, man. But if you're being honest, like if you could say, like if this was a conversation about like the Titans with Derrick Henry, you can make an unemotional comment about that. It's hard to do when you love the player and the franchise. Remove emotion. The answer is pretty easy, actually. Okay. Well, I got a quick break. The SEC Football Media Days schedule is out. I'm going to delve into that when we come back, give you some takeaways. Brian Kelly's going to lead off at LSU. I don't know if LSU requests it or whatever, but they go for like first up, first day. It's been that way for, it feels like half a decade now. But we'll give you some other takeaways on that when we return. Glad to have you aboard with us here on a Thursday edition of AFR. Don't you move.
AFR.
Brought to you by Glow Resources. They're online at glowresources.com, G-L-O, glowresources.com. Glow Resources, complete employer solutions. That's right. Glow Resources, not a temp staffing agency. Like, they don't want employees calling up looking for jobs. At Glow Resources, they'll find you. At Glow Resources, they work for the business owner. If you're trying to find employees and you've had issues, not only finding employees, but finding qualified people who will stick, you need Glow Resources. They have operations all over, and they will follow no matter where the job is. I mean, they currently have employees who are working for companies based out of Houston doing jobs on other continents in Africa. And at Glow Resources, they score themselves on how long their employees stay with their customers, and they have a 93% retention rate. You need to get out of the hiring rat race and get it right. You need Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
All right, this July, SEC Football Media Days on the move again. We're headed to Dallas. We'll be in Big D. And Brian Kelly and the LSU Tigers will take the stage first. This is something that's become somewhat customary ever since Ed Ogeron was the coach. LSU, I don't know if they request to go first. I would assume that that is the case, but LSU will lead off. So Monday, July the 15th, there in Dallas, Brian Kelly and the LSU contingent will go first. Lane Kiffin, Shane Beamer, and Clark Lee will round out the day on Monday. That should be interesting. You know, Shane Beamer has tried to get into the viral video thing the past couple of years, doing videos with his team before they leave and they drop it on social. So they've done a pretty good job of making themselves notable there. Tuesday, I think of great consequence is on Tuesday we'll get to see Brent Venables for the first time at SEC Football Media. By the way, one thing I do like, and I don't know if you, the fan, the consumer, necessarily cares. But when the league was 14 teams, you would see the way that the numbers were divvied up. Like they would go 3-3 on Monday and Thursday, and then 4-4 on Tuesday, Wednesday. And sometimes it would get a little, I don't know, 4 is a lot. But instead of moving this to a 5th day to thin it out, they just have 4 coaches each day for the 16. I think mathematically it probably works out the best to do it that way instead of extending it another day to keep it a little thin. But anyway, day 2 of great note will be Brent Venables making his debut at SEC Football Media Days. It'll be Kirby Smart, Eli Drinkwitz, Brent Venables, and Josh Heupel. So Georgia, Missouri, Oklahoma, Tennessee Of course, Georgia with Kirby will be a headliner, but it'll be interesting, obviously, to see Brent Venables there for the first time. And a day later, what's headlined, I think, is 3 first-year head coaches and a guy that probably will be making his last appearance. So Wednesday will be Alabama with Kalen DeBoer making his debut, Florida with Billy Napier, Mississippi State and Jeff Lebby, and Texas's Steve Sarkisian will all be there. Well, Sark isn't a new coach, I guess I should clarify, but a new coach, I should say, making his first appearance at SEC Media Days. So DeBoer, Lebby, and Sark will all be making their first appearance at SEC Football Media Days, and Billy Napier could well be making his last. And then they'll wrap up on Thursday with Sam Pittman, Hugh Freeze, Mark Stoops, and Mike Elko. It does make sense the way they do this. They'll generally, to make sure that media stays for the last day, they'll always put a headliner last to make sure that there's a large enough media contingent that stays. By the time you get to the end of the fourth day, it's a lot. It's been a lot. And a lot of media comes just to cover their school, right? The school that they cover. So being in Dallas and having Elko, a first-year head coach at a Texas school, Texas A&M, last is a pretty smart thing to do. The only other way they maybe could have contrasted that would have had Sark last, or Kalen DeBoer last. But it makes sense what they did. So Kelly leading off, Texas and OU, Elko in Dallas to wrap it up are interesting. I always also look at SEC Media Days and wonder, okay, who's going to be making it's always interesting who's making their first appearance, and then we always kind of talk about, okay, well, who's probably making their last appearance. So a year ago, I predicted it was going to be Jimbo's last. I said the $75 million, people make too much of that, he going to go. And he was fired. But the other guy that I said was wrong. The other guy I said was Drinkwitz, and Drinkwitz had a great year. Didn't think Saban was retiring. He's gone. And then obviously Zach Arnett only made 1 season. So there are 4 new coaches, not including Venables and Sarkisian. So really, there's 6 new coaches that are going to be debuting at SEC Football Media Days. So that's I think going to be a really intriguing part of Media Days is the new coaches. Now, coaches who I think won't be back, I think Billy Napier is the most obvious. Hot seat there in Gainesville. Year 3, he needs to make improvement. Vegas has their projected win total at 5.5, and I don't know how he gets there. So I think this is Napier's final year that we'll see him at SEC Football Media Days. As much as I hate to say it because he's such a nice guy, the same is probably true for Sam Pittman. You know, you had a year ago your 1-year pit stop offensive coordinator you thought was going to help boost you. You got KJ Jefferson back a year ago, and you face planted, and now you're bringing in Bobby Petrino. You're doing the same thing Jimbo did a year ago with Petrino, trying to save your job, and I don't know that that's going to happen. And the other one to keep an eye on is Clark Lee, because, man, I know that's his alma mater, and I know it's hard to win at Vandy, and I know they have a lot of patience with coaches there, but if Clark Lee settles on 2 or 3 wins again, and you're getting to this point where you're this deep into your career now there, and you haven't made any type of penetration towards showing progress, it's hard to imagine a scenario where Clark Lee is back. But, you know, we're still a ways away. I mean, we're only sitting here in February. It feels like, man, they really did this preemptively this year, considering that's not until the middle of July. You know, we got 4.5 months till SEC Media Days. So we'll get there when we get there. But in the meantime, we know what the order will be. All right, it's after further review. Oh, real quick, Jimmy just texted. I probably should have thrown this out because I heard him say it on his show. If you are interested, Ohio State is tipping right now, and I played it at Ohio State -4. Ohio State's is playing Nebraska tonight. It's in Columbus. Jimmy, I heard Matt Humans from VSiN on Jimmy's show earlier today as well. If you're playing tonight, they're on Ohio State. It's a sharp play tonight. Ohio State laying the 4. So I don't know if you look at it in game what it will be, but Ohio State -4. I'm looking at it right now to see if it's moved at all. But the line is Ohio State -4. Waiting for DraftKings to load. And it's 6.5 right now. So I would just recommend just be patient, wait, see if you can in game it somewhere, get close to the original number, maybe even a better number. But Ohio State -4 was one of the plays Jimmy gave. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com. If you're thinking about buying land, go to First South Farm Credit. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. That's firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. You want to buy that hunting property? Look, I know it's a time of year where a lot of y'all are getting out of the deer stands, or you've gotten out of the deer stands, and you're sick of leasing a property and sharing it with other people. You want your own? Let First South Farm Credit help. Maybe you live in Louisiana, but you want that hunting property in Mississippi. No worries. First South Farm Credit has 44 branches in 3 states, and they can help you finance land in any of the contiguous 48. So you want to buy land to open a winery in California? They can help you. It's First South Farm Credit. Agriculture, ag equipment, or maybe just that tract of land to build your dream home. First South Farm Credit can help. FirstSouthland.com. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthland.com. Hat tip to Mekhi Wingo. The defensive tackles taking their turn today over at the NFL Scouting Combine. The fastest 40-yard dash times among defensive tackles. Braden Fisk from Florida State had the fastest time at 4.78. God, he would have been so good in the purple and gold this year. Brandon Dorlus from Oregon, 4.85. Mekhi Wingo from LSU, 4.85. So Mekhi Wingo tied with the second fastest 40 time among defensive tackles. So great opportunity for Mekhi Wingo there to go and show he's healthy and hopefully rocket up some draft boards. We'll see, but he had a good start today with a solid 40 time. All right, y'all. It is after further review. We'll knock out our final break of the show. We'll come back. Jimmy will be here for Otter Locks. We'll see what the Otters got in store for us today. Also, we will have some time, so I want to make sure we get to a quick thought on the Pels, which dropped one last night, and maybe if I have time, a little more from Matt McMahon as well. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home. If, of course, tomorrow is a Friday in Lent. So if you are a practicing Catholic and you're abstaining from meat on Fridays in Lent, let me remind you, Rouse's is a great option for you. Not only do they have their hot and boiled kiosk, so if you want boiled crawfish, boiled shrimp, they got you covered. Just walk in. It's already bag, tag, price, ready to roll. You just walk in, go to the left, you'll see the hot and boiled kiosk. But they've also got other options if you want fried catfish or you want to go to the seafood bar. Look, they've got sushi already rolled. You can get your sushi option if you want that, or get you a piece of salmon, a fillet of tuna, and throw it on the grill and have yourself a dinner tomorrow night. Of course, all your vegetables and all the sides that you could possibly want, they got it at Rouse's. And Rouse's has been helping you make groceries for more than, 80 years, 100 years now. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's, this feels like home.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has new 23 Ford F-150 STX trucks for only $39,995. $39,995 plus 1.9% financing for 72 months. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Well, Nebraska's got an early lead, so if you had waited to end game, good for you. Ohio State now plus 1.5 live. We took it at -4. All right, down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ottfather himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Good, man. How about you, Matt?
Great. The 7-leg money line parlay last night.
None of them were a sweat.
I know. It's great.
It's just you got it. With so many betting options. I mean, sometimes to be creative, and I generally stay away from chalk, but I just didn't see how those teams were going to lose. A lot of them were at home as well. I think all of them were at home. And Matt, this deep in the season, those lines are pretty doggone tight. So, we've seen a lot of upsets in college basketball. And for the most part, your money line parlays like that, what we put out, is not a profitable venture, but I just couldn't see some of these teams competing.
Yeah.
The teams were coming off of losses. They'll be focused. So a little bit of everything. So good thing we hit that 85-teamer. All right, here we go. Colucci.
All right. Muse. Colucci.
In between pasta reviews in Harlem today, Colucci gave out a 3-pack.
Okay.
Minnesota.
All right.
Vancouver. And the home team, the Las Vegas Golden Knights. So
all money line?
Yes, all money line. One's a little like plus 30, one's like minus 30, one's right at even.
We're looking at a money line parlay with them, Otter, or each individually?
No, hey, you enter at your own risk. Those are single plays.
All right, fair enough. All right, Minnesota, Vancouver, and Las Vegas.
Yeah.
All right.
And we do have another money line parlay that's going to pay a little bit of plus money. Kind of about the same as last night. This is a 3-teamer, however, not a 7-teamer. Rutgers missed all kinds of free throws. They got beat badly by Maryland. I look for them to bounce back. Michigan was very competitive, but still lost. They did cover at home against Purdue. That's a sinking ship in Ann Arbor. Rutgers needs it. Tough place to play. So Rutgers. Utah at home. Utah is kind of one of those bubble teams that they're probably out, but at home, they're real tough to beat, and Stanford, and they're better than Stanford. And then Washington State tonight at home against USC. USC got their revenge last Saturday, the crosstown rival. Each team, traded winning on each other's court across town. But they'll bounce back. Washington State, tough at the Palouse. So Washington State, Utah, Rutgers. all three teams at
That-
home, a little money line parlay.
That's a plus 106 coming back there. So, all right. So we got the live bet on Ohio State. We need to check on that one too. That one is presently Nebraska's up 6, about halfway through the first half there. So we're keeping an eye on
What
that
the
one.
hell happened? Ohio State's up 13-6. Now they're down 6.
It's 21-17 now. Nebraska leading, so you can in game and get a better number now. But and then 3 plays in the NHL: Minnesota, Vancouver, and Las Vegas. And then the 3-team money line parlay: Rutgers, Utah, and Washington State, all on the money line. Right on.
Lots of second to last weekend of the regular season for college basketball. Annie's going to Houston, so we'll have wall-to-wall handicappers on the show tomorrow from Rufino's.
Sounds good, man. We'll look forward to it. Always a great Friday over there at Rufino's. Go join the fellas, have some lunch, get the weekend started a little bit early. All right, Otter, good luck tonight, man. We appreciate it.
Good luck, man.
All right, man. Be well. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, door, siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. You know, when I tell you about Relief Windows, I always mention a lifetime transferable warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage. And I don't want to gloss over that. Lifetime warranty. I challenge you. Find any other company that offers a lifetime warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage. Some might warranty the material. Nobody's going to warranty the labor. Certainly is not going to be a lifetime transferable warranty. You want to know why you do business with Relief Windows? Exceptional products, even better customer service. It's Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Oh, yeah, they do indoor shutters as well. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Real quick, Kim Mulkey met with reporters, and she was asked about a potential new arena at LSU, which is gaining some traction. And here was Kim asked about what she knows about the new arena proposal.
I'm all for facilities on campus. I was recruiting at the state tournament and someone sent it to me and I read it and I read it again, and sounds like the new way to go is it's not just going to be a basketball arena, it's going to be an entertainment type of arena. Selfishly, I just want it to be a basketball arena, but I would imagine financial decisions go into that, funds and how do you pay for it and all that. I don't know details. I know what I read in that article.
And one more, play number 3 a little more on there potentially being 2 arenas.
How you gonna have 2 PMACs? Everybody keeps saying the new PMAC. Well, the old PMAC didn't go anywhere, and I can't imagine 2 buildings being called the PMAC. Did y'all catch that? Well, certainly. You got to move the track, maybe get a new natatorium, and I'm all for that. They need to do that quickly. Coach Schaefer deserves that, man. But it sounds like, from what I read in that article, PMAC is staying. So I don't know that it's a new PMAC. I don't know how you describe it, a new building, a new entertainment, probably somebody that's going to fund it or somebody corporate, I don't know. But it sounds like it's going to be a whole new arena.
We are going to have Kelly Zinn on the show on Tuesday. We confirmed that. Kelly Zinn replaced Stephanie Remp, who left to become the athletic director at Nevada, right? Didn't Stephanie Remp go to Nevada? And Stephanie was fantastic. I mean, obviously, she was a rising star, and she had gone with Scott Woodward from Washington to A&M to LSU and then became an AD. And Kelly Zinn replaced Stephanie Remp. So we're looking forward to having Kelly on Tuesday. It's Nevada, right? And I want to dig a little deeper into this conversation because it's something that's been bandied about for a long time, not just new facilities, but in particular, what do you do with the PMAC? Do you keep renovating it, or do you build a whole new facility? If you build a whole new facility, well, where do you build it? Do you tear down the current PMAC? Does that become a multi-use arena for something else? I know they have looked at possibilities of building a new arena where the track is and moving track closer to the river. But the concern there is a lot of the wind coming off the river could be really detrimental to track and field events. Obviously, you hear about wind-aided times or things like that. So I know there was conversations about building a new PMAC. by the golf course, like where the new box is. But do you move it that far away? Do you continue moving down Nicholson? There's just a lot of logistical questions. And then obviously, who pays for it? How do you pay for it? So there's a lot of questions and concerns there about what to do with the arena. And I don't have the answers, but I'm looking forward to trying to get some of those answers. So on Tuesday, Kelly, we're confirmed. Kelly Zinn will be with us, and we'll have a pretty honest conversation with LSU's number 2 athletic administrator behind Scott Woodward about what may happen there. So it's a pretty transformative time and formative time right now around LSU athletics. It's a great time as well. All right, it's going to do it for us here. Muse, Paulie, I appreciate y'all. Have an awesome night. Looking forward to being back here tomorrow. Looking forward to a really busy baseball weekend over there in Houston. Basketball team on the road as well. LSU women play tonight. We'll have it all for you on Friday's AFR. We'll see you at 3.
AFR.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need.